How's it going once again, guys, and welcome to something a little bit different today. Today we are going to play some Game Dev Tycoon because I've been playing a lot of this game over the last couple of weeks, like in my spare time, in the evening. You know what, I'm going to do that as a large booth, just for the time being. But yeah, in the evening I've been playing a fair amount of this game and I've played it through quite a few times. And I did start thinking to myself, I'm going to play one more time and that'll be it. I'm not going to play it anymore. So that led me on to another thought of maybe I should record it, and voila, here we are playing Game Dev Tycoon and I'm recording it for you guys. Basically, as you've probably assumed from the title, this is going to be sort of slightly different from my normal games, because usually I tend to just play through the first time. Like you've never seen me play it before. It'll be a blind playthrough, I play through, and all the fails and hilarity that ensues. This series is going to be more targeted towards people that actually want to, you know, get good in this game, because I've got relatively good at it. Like, I've done quite a lot of research in this game, and I've got to the point now where I've got, you know, 6 employees. I've got my second console is on sale, MMOs, Fantasy Online, that sort of thing. So I'm going to start a brand new thingy. Oh wait, before I do though, I am going to show you the sort of the end game. Eventually you can get a big old R&D lab like that one, and let's have a look at how well I've done at G3. I'm kind of hoping I've done pretty well at G3, but this isn't what the series is going to be. This isn't me just going, look how good I am at this. It's not. I'm going to start a new one, and we're going to see how well we can do. Like, this is going to be my ultimate final playthrough of this game, and I kind of want you guys to be there along for the ride, if you know what I mean. So anyway, this year we had and we were voted #1 booth. Yay! We were the first #1 booth at the G3 contest, which is basically just E3. It is. It's exactly the same thing. So anyway, this is kind of what we eventually want to get to. But to be honest, we kind of want to be better than this. We want to get to the point we've got like multiple MMOs on the go, like version 3 of the Beast, which is the name of my console at the moment. So okay, without further ado, let's start a new game, shall we? So, skip tutorials. I am going to skip the tutorials, just because they're a load of old bunkum. I don't need them at this point, they're pointless. So, we'll skip them. So, welcome to Game Dev Tycoon. In this business simulation, you have been transported back in time to start your very own game development company, right at the beginning of the PC revolution. In the next 35 years, you can build your dream company, create best-selling games, gain fans, and become the leader of the market. That is basically what we're going to try and do. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do that. Now, unlike my other series, this one, as I said, is going to be slightly different. There might be some cuts, there might be some edits. You know, it's just going to kind of be a bit weird, because this game can go on for like 10 hours. I mean, each playthrough is a very long time. It's quite a big amount of input. So I may be cutting down the videos, just cutting out some of the bunk and some of the bollocks. But you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, let us begin. And also, before we do start, if you do enjoy this series and if you think this is a good idea, remember, hit that like button, post a comment down below, because, you know, the more likes it gets, the comments it gets, it kind of drives me on with the series. It means I go back on it, it's like, yep, okay, let's do this. You get what I mean. So yeah, anyway, company name. What are we going to call it? I'm thinking The Village, because that's kind of what we usually do, isn't it? If it's a collective thing, we call it a collective thing. And The Village is the collective. And I don't know, what should I call this guy? I always get confused with player names, just because I'm not the most original person when it comes to names. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, like Sweaty Cumberbatch? Is that a legitimate name? I don't think that is a legitimate name. That's actually a bit of a worrying name. Sod it. Let's go with Sweaty Cumberbatch. For some silly reason, just because it doesn't really matter, does it? Sweaty Cumberbatch. There we go. Cumberbatch. And can we change his hair? We can change his... Give me a ginger. We can have a black guy, an Asian guy, just a normal white guy, or a black guy, Asian guy, whichever. That looks like me, I suppose. It doesn't really matter. So, since you have played this game before, you can choose to use all the previously gained hints. One of the most recent updates with this game, and I don't know when, I think it just happened a little while ago, is they updated it and gave you hints. So now you can generate game reports and basically just learn how to be really good at creating certain games. It works really well. It's actually a pretty good system. So would you like to import all previous game hints into this game? Yes, I will. So here we go. We've got... What one should I go with? I suppose I should go with slot 3. Like, these are in my previous companies. We've got Badassery and Loophole. This one has currently done the best. That's the one you saw before. So hopefully we're going to try and imitate that company. So okay, slot 3. And when I say imitate, I mean exceed. We will do a hell of a lot better than that company. So okay, our first game should probably be... Ooh, see, that's really crap. They basically give you 4 random ones out of all the topics in the game, and that's a bit rubbish. Like, I was kind of hoping for fantasy, but post-apocalyptic could do well. A post-apocalyptic RPG, maybe. On this, yeah, go on, we'll stick on that. RPGs do quite well on the G64. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a post-apocalyptic adventure, because adventures do incredibly well on the G46. See, now these ones I've not researched, but once we've done a game report, we would have researched it, and it'll look good. So what should we call it? I don't know. Once again, I'm not very good at naming things, so I've kind of just been calling them games that remind me of that sort of situation, like a post-apocalyptic adventure. I don't know. Rage. Because that was a game, that was post-apocalyptic. It was sort of an adventure. Well, action adventure. But this time we're going to make it a text-based for 5K. Just because. Text-based are interesting. They can be really hit and miss, I've noticed. So, alright, story. Engine. We don't need a very good engine. Gameplay. We really want to focus mainly on story. So, go man. Place your bubbles into those boxes. Design and technology, that's what we want. Okay, dialogues. Artificial intelligence. We'll lower that down because, you know, RPGs, artificial intelligence, well, adventure, sorry, they're going to be sort of set, aren't they? The artificial intelligence doesn't really need to be that important. So these are the most important things I found. These are so useful, these little hints and tips down the bottom here. Like, it does tell you for an adventure, or a post-apocalyptic adventure, it really wants you to give some plus to dialogue, which is pretty handy. And then you've got artificial intelligence, which it's, you know, you don't need that, so that's minus. You see what I mean? It kind of makes it pretty damn useful. So I'm doing these videos more to sort of point you guys at this game and say, look, it's actually finished. The game is finished. Because back when I played it on the other channel, I did a playthrough of this at one point. It was still sort of in beta stage. So it wasn't completed at this point. But I think this is a completed game now. So, yeah. Yeah, just food for thought there, guys. Food for thought. So anyway, we're going to do world design, high, graphics, that's the thing, we're doing a text adventure. Graphics aren't really going to be that important, so we'll just put it about there. Adventures, I have found, you need them to be very similar to RPGs. You end up with that kind of level. So right, that is done. If we sit here just for a little bit, you should be able to pump some more into the design. Ah, there we go, that'll do. That'll do, that's actually a pretty good game for the first one. And new topic, new combo, yay. So let's release that. And now that we've released one game, see, this is the new elements of the game. You can generate a game report. So we'll go, yeah, we'll generate a game report for Rage. It's usually better if you do it after the game review comes in, I've noticed. It's kind of a weird little thing. I suppose it makes sense, because then you can look at audience response and that sort of thing. But yeah, the first review for our newly released game, blah, blah, blah. See, oh my god. See, your first game, terrible, utter terrible. 4s and 5s. But that's okay, because it will pay the bills. That's all we need it to do at the moment. We don't need it to do anything particularly amazing. We just need it to pay the bills until we start unlocking the new hardware and stuff. Once you can develop your own gear, that's when things start turning around. Well, I say hardware, sorry, not hardware. Game engine, that's the one. Once we've got one of those for ourselves, you can start turning out pretty decent games. Ooh, that's terrible. 73rd in the charts. That's crap. That really is. But it did gain us 17 fans. Rage was so successful that we now have 17 fans. I wouldn't call that so successful, would you? Probably not. The benefit to these game reports is that as you're doing it, you also gain research from it. So it's just another excuse to get a little bit of research. And also it gives you this. So our post analysis of Rage is complete, and we got the following results. Post-apocalyptic and adventure is an okay combination, and engine seems to not be very important for this type of game. So this is stuff we already knew before, but, you know, it unlocks a few more hints and tips, you know, slightly on further down the line. So every time you do a game, you should really do a game report, because it just makes the whole thing a hell of a lot easier. You'll have a better chance of making a good game, if you get what I mean. So okay, as you've probably noticed, this series at the moment is an attempt to try and be a tutorial. Which is a really weird thing for me. I don't usually do tutorials, and I don't know how well I'm doing, so I'm just going to play through as I would play and show you what I'm doing. So it might be like the closest thing I've ever done to a walkthrough, but hey ho, let's continue, shall we? So right, we've done that now. Let's develop a new game. Usually what I tend to do out the bat is I'll make a new game for every single one of these. But I have turned out some absolute crap, like fashion and vocabulary. Those are terrible. So I'm going to go transport, I think. We will go transport simulation, and we'll put it on this. And we're not going to point it at mature audiences, because apparently they hate transport games. Or so it would seem, which I think is an absolute lie. I know many people that play like railway games, and they're all adults. But still, what should we call it then? Let's just go with the simplest thing. Train sim. Such a unique name. Train sim, not a text-based. We want 2D graphics on this one. We can make it look pretty. See, one of the things you've really got to try and go with at the beginning of the game, you've got to choose what graphics engines you want to go with. And by that, I mean 2D or 3D. Because you get 2D at the beginning, and you can like pump a load into 2D, and then by the end of the game, you have like 2D version 5. But if you pump it into 3D, you can get better games on the 3D engine. Well, ideally, what you want is both, but that's never going to happen. You just don't have enough time. So you've really got to pick one or the other. And I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go with the 2D line. Just like pump everything into 2D. That seems to work quite well. So anyway, we'll get rid of stories. We don't need stories in a train simulator. Unless it was like, I don't know, Thomas the Tank Engine, the simulator. And that would be utter terrible. Look, he's roaming about like an arrogant douche. I'm sorry, I've never been a big fan of Thomas. Even as a kid, it's like, you know what? Fuck that train. I don't like that train. Trains shouldn't talk. They have a job to do. It's just going to distract them. What if they crash? No. See, it's just bad vibes. Bad vibes all the way down. So, okay. The train sim seems to be going quite well. You'd assume with something like this, you'd want a more in technology. So I'm kind of hoping that the graphics is going to boost it up. Sound, though. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. You'd think in a train simulator, world design would be quite important, but it's not. Like, don't be fooled by that. There are certain things that you can do on this game that just, I don't know, you can trick the system, if you get what I mean. So graphics, you'd want that pretty high, especially because it's a simulator. They're supposed to look pretty. Sound is apparently quite useful. This is just going by the research that I've done prior to this playthrough. So yeah, sound is quite important. World design, apparently not. So let's go with that. It's always best to sort of follow them, I've noticed. If you go against the grain in this game, it punishes you. Like, if I've tried experimenting by doing games that are opposite of what it tells you to do. Like, well, of what the hints point towards you doing. And the scores are shit. I mean, you end up with like 1s and 2s all across the board. I bankrupt a company doing that like that. It's like opposite to everything it was telling me just because I was testing a theory. And bankrupt. Completely bankrupt. Like, and this was by the time I had quite a bit of money. And it was all gone. Just because I decided it'd be clever to try and do the opposite of what the game is telling me to do. So there's a lesson there. Don't do the opposite. Follow the rules, man. Actually, don't. It's more entertaining this way. So Sweaty Cumberbatch is now 1.5 levels higher. Yay. We got a new record, so hopefully this game will do alright. Fingers crossed. Let's wait for the review. So, industry news. Recent market studies suggest that the Commodore... So at this point in time, that PC is doing a hell of a lot better than the other PC, which makes sense because, you know, it's kind of following the history of games. That's the thing I like about this game as well. Like, it teaches you the history of gaming. You know, in a very small package. It's not got all of it. There's so many consoles that it misses out. But it does, in its own little way, teach you the history of gaming. If you get what I mean. You know, it's like educational, but at the same time, vaguely fun. So, okay, the first review is... Oh, I saw 10s. Come on, dude. It's a 7. That's alright. What? 7 again. Yes! And possibly another 7. Game hairy. Douchebags. Give me an 8. Balance me out. 6. That's alright. That's not bad. 7, 7, 6, 7. That's actually a pretty good score. So, right, let's generate a game report for that. Because now, when we do simulations in the future... we'll be able to make even better simulations. Plus, we get all of the research, which is pretty damn useful. So, Train Sim has achieved a company record sales. That was like clanger noise. No, not clanger noise. Martian noise. That's the one. From Mars Attacks. Right, our post-release analysis of train sims completed, and we got the following results. Dialogue seems not to be very important for this type of game. Yeah, that would kind of make sense. You know, once again, we go back to Thomas, with the fat controller sat in the background being like, meh, 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 you know, as he does. Oh, racing. Fantasy, yes. Fantasy is the best thing. It just makes so much money. Like, fantasy and dungeon. Those are the two that will, if you can get them, you make loads of money. RPG as well. If you go with an RPG, you'll never be without cash. Just because it's the easiest thing to make, and it rakes in the money. So, according to the rumours, the Japanese company Nintendo is planning to launch their very own home gaming console. Nintendo is known for widely successful arcade game Disney. Why did I say like Noel Fielding? Noel Fielding in IT Crowd being, what's his name? Reginald? No, I can't remember his name. It's exactly the voice. Anyway, so yes, we know that that's coming out. Many industry experts doubt the home and console will take off, but we're eager to see what Nintendo delivers. So if you can't tell that that's Nintendo, then, I don't know, get out. Get out. Of your own house, apparently. Okay, right, let's develop a new game. Let's make a fantasy, and we're going to make an RPG, of course. Stands to reason. And should we make Final Fantasy? What, you know, I'm not very good at making names, so I could come up with really vulgar names. I had Charlie over here at one point, and every single game we made was just gay. That's all it ended up being. It was one of those, like, come on, can we just come up with a normal name here? I don't know, Cock Gobbler, and that was a suggestion. Okay, thanks for that. You're so helpful. So anyway, let's stick it on the G64. Now, RPGs, they seem to do really well on, like, Nintendo. Nintendo is really good for it. On the PC and the Golvador, or whatever they call it in this one, it's okay. It does alright. Just not as well as it can do. So now we've got fantasy. This will get us a decent amount of cash right out the bat. So you want to pump the story all the way up. Engine, forget about engine. You don't need that. Gameplay, let's put that about there, because gameplay needs to be quite important. So that'll do, pig. That'll do. Game is off the market. Train sim is now off the market. Sold 24. That's not bad. You know, that actually made us a fair amount of cash, all things considering. But what we want that 10. Those 10s across the board. I did it once. I've only done it once where I got a 10, 10, 10, 10. There were 4 10s, and my god, I almost hit the roof. If I'd been recording at that situation, it probably could have made, like, viral video, man craps himself or something. Well, not literally, but man has a fit in front of computer. Probably would have been a bit like that. I was like, oh my god, ah! It was pretty epic. So anyway, well-designed, graphics, sound. We want sound pretty low, graphics, once again, relatively important, but not majorly important. And early on in the game as well, you do want it to be precise, but you don't need to be massively precise. Now, once you start getting more and more guys, more employees, that's when you need to, like, balance everything out a bit, percentage-wise, and it gets a bit mathematical. It gets a little bit mathematical, but that's fine, because the game kind of does it all for you. But still, you got to kind of work everything out in your head. Like, wait, is this going to do well in comparison to this? You know, it's all bollocks nonsense, is essentially what we're talking about. So, okay, done. Let's say Final Fantasy is finished. And we have a new record. And story quest level 2, dialogues level 2. See, as you play through the game, these will go up no matter what you do. So, say, for instance, like, we didn't pump anything into engine, but we got an upgrade for that. Dialogues, like, admittedly, you'll get the ones that you do pump into, you'll get more. But you get what I mean. You know, you will get upgrades for everything. So, you know, don't worry about sort of putting anything in there just so you can try and get an upgrade in level design. It really doesn't matter. Eventually, you'll just be beefed up out the max. You just play. Just play is all I'm trying to say here, and I'm doing it in a really terrible way. So, right, so let's generate the game report for Final Fantasy. So, what do we got? Oh, it's a 7. That's not bad. Oh, don't you dare. RPG games work well on the G64. I know, right? That's why I did it. Their focus on dialogue served this game very well. It did. But hopefully that'll make us a decent amount of cash. So while that is making us money, and while he's doing that, once he's done that, I'm going to create my own custom engine. Oh, here we go. Hi there. I've just finished Final Fantasy. I'm impressed by your talent. Now, this message comes up every time. Once you've made your 3rd game, you will get this message. And it doesn't matter whether your game is shit. I once made like a 1-2 game at this point. The rating was like 2 across the board. I still got this message saying, oh, I was impressed by whatever that game was called. Can you do some work for me? It just seems to happen, whatever the case. So, okay, we've got 56 research. Our post analysis. So no new insights. See, because I've researched Final Fantasy games and RPGs so much so far, I'm not going to get any new insights. So when I make a new fantasy RPG, I'm not going to study it because I already know. It's unnecessary. But you should really only do that later on down the line, or if you want the research bonus. The research bonus is pretty useful as well. So right, we are creating our own gaming thingy. Well, not yet. We're researching the ability to do it. But once we have done it, I think we might make a new game? Possibly? Because a custom engine is relatively expensive. Plus, we don't have any upgrades at the moment, so it's kind of pointless. You have successfully researched custom game engine. Yay. But let's have a look here. See? Oh, we got the 2D graphics version too. That is actually quite useful. So you know what? I am in fact going to do all... No. No? Yes? Maybe? No, I'm going to wait one more game because then I can get mono sound. Sound is very important. So right, we want to make... What should we make again? Fashion or vocabulary? Actually, let's go with vocabulary. Let's go with like a typing tutor. So vocabulary... Simulation. Apparently it's a great combo. So that's something, you know, to write home about. Simulation does well on this, but this gets more money. So right, I'm going to put it on the G64. It's best to go with the G64 like at the beginning of the game. So I don't know, like typing tutor. There we go. That's a good name. I remember one of them. I had one of them when I was at school. It was terrible. There's this woman's voice over the top, and Jesus Christ, if I ever met the woman, I'd just slap her. She had such an annoying voice, and this is coming from me. My voice isn't exactly soothing. I don't know. Well, it depends on your opinion, doesn't it? But still, this, I think it was Mavis Beacon or whatever the name of the friggin' thing was. And my God, why do we need to listen to this? I know how to type. So anyway, typing tutor, simulation. I should have called it Mavis Beacon. Okay, gamers off the market. Final Fantasy made 142,000. That's not bad. You know, we're staying afloat. That's all we're doing at this point. Like, we need to get to that point where we have that one hit. You eventually make that one game that is perfect. Like, it's the right time for it, and it just makes you so much money. But until we get to that point, unfortunately, we're just going to have to slog on through. And as I did say, once you create your own custom engine, that's when you start making in the big bucks. Because, you know, at this point, you're pretty much your own games designer. I've got my own engine. I don't have to use whatever he was using before. Epic's engine or whatever. Okay. So, typing tutor. Keep going, man. You can do it. You can break records. You're not going to break any records like that. Especially with all those bugs. Actually, he might break the technology record. Oh. It could do it. That's 14-13. You know what? I think that might be record breaker. Record breaker. No record. So let's release that. There we go. That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for some more research. Because now we've got the research. Once you get the research, then you get the money. Then you get the women. Or some... Oh, it's an 8. Apparently the world loves typing tutors. 9. 7. Game hero. That's alright. Another 9 from all games. See, now that's going to make me a fair amount of money. That's going to be pretty good. I don't think I'm going to be able to move to another building, but, you know, that's pretty decent. 82,000. Can't complain in the first week of sales. Second week did terribly, but still. Okay, let's generate game report for typing tutor. And then once we've done that, I think it might be time to go and make our own engine. Because we made 4 games. That's kind of what I said I was going to do. Ah, no. We need 2 more. That's all we need. Engine seems to be quite important for this type of game. Okay, well, I know that for next time. Thank you for telling me. Alright, we want a bit of contract work. So we need 2 more points, and then we can get the what's it called? Tutorials. And tutorials is a pretty good gameplay mechanic to have in games. It tends to boost your rating by quite a lot. Oh, I'm going to fail. Oh, no. Oh, I failed. A penalty of 8k. That's unfortunate. I see that the contract was not completed. Be careful what contracts you accept, otherwise those penalties quickly add up. I will indeed. Don't worry too much though. I don't hold grudges. So basically, if I fail, it doesn't matter because you never hold a grudge. Which I did find. Like, no matter how many times you fail a contract or you fail the requirements on a publishing deal, they'll always give you another job. No matter. If you want a publishing deal from Ubisoft or whatever the game dev tycoon equivalent is, I think it's like Ubisoft or something, you know, they'll give you some money. It's fine. Go out there, you crazy kids. Make some video games. Right, so we're going to put on everything on this one, and I am going to call it the machine. That's usually what I call my custom engine, is like the machine version 1, 2, 3, just because I like the joke of who told you about the machine, that kind of thing. So right, let's create our custom engine. Now the first engine is pretty easy to make. It's a pretty simple engine. You get some research as well. So what I'm going to do after I've done that... Actually, no, it can't do that yet. Can I? No, I can't do that until I've gone to a new building. But usually what I would do is after I made a console, I use the research that I got from making... Not a console, sorry. Once I made a custom engine, I'd use the research I'd gained from that to then boost the experience of my guys. So, because what you got to do, it's basically mini management, isn't it? You got to make the games, make the money, while at the same time training your staff, sending them on vacation, that kind of thing. So yeah, you get what I'm trying to talk about. So anyway guys, I'm actually going to end this video after I've made this custom game engine, and in the next one we're going to make a brand new game using our new custom game engine, the machine. I'm not sure what we're going to make. I'm thinking I might make another RPG or something like that. So yeah, that is the end of this first episode of Game Dev Tycoon Like a Boss. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, remember you can always leave a like down below, leave a comment as well. And if you think this series is a good idea, then post another comment down below as well as your other comment. I don't know, post 2, 3, whichever, man. And yeah, if you think it's a good idea, just post down below, because, you know, your opinions do matter to me. And yeah, we shall go from there. So thank you for joining me, guys. I hope to see you in the next one, which may come out in a couple of days, hopefully, or tomorrow. It all depends on when I record it. Actually, I'll probably put this one up first, see what your opinions are of it, and then continue recording after that, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye bye now.